to be able to be part of this amazing program. Thank you so much, Lynn and the whole team. And of course, to also share the stage with amazing experts that have incredible experiences and skills and knowledge from different settings and different industries that they have been, sharing with you. And I want to tell you, all right, I can see some kind of video. So if you can hear me loud and clear, can you raise up your right hand? If you can hear me loud and clear, can you raise up your right hand? Awesome, awesome. Now it's much better, and I can have much fun sharing this with you guys. So thank you so much to the media team who are able to make this happen. I want to tell you that adding to the subjects that your school have been teaching you, what you just experienced today is one of the most important things that you would learn as a young professional in Cameroon. I'm telling you that. Okay. So whatever you have learned today will literally define your next 5 years and your next 10 years in terms of success or failure in career. See, I'm saying this from experience, I'm saying this from research, I'm saying this from an expert perspective. And one of the major works I do is a lot of research about the future of work and the future of skills. And the young people, especially in the African setting, the young people that will lead their industries and be able to build successful careers are young people who understand how to leverage new media, how to leverage branding, how to leverage thought leadership, how to leverage the ability to create value in a way that is not going backward, but going forward and changing the lives of people, right? So I'm telling you that what you have learned today and the things you will still learn from the speakers after me, or those you have learned from the speakers before me, are things that will redefine the state of your career and, of course, the kind of results that you'll be able to generate in the next phase of your life. So I want to encourage you, be a doer. I always say that in the marketplace, hope is not a strategy. If you hear all of these things that I've shared with you and you only hope, hope has never been a strategy as far as success is concerned. Okay. It is only execution based on relevant knowledge acquired that produces results. Hear me very well. Relevant knowledge is useless without execution. Now, I want you to turn to your neighbor and say, neighbor, relevant knowledge is useless without execution. Do that. Tell your neighbor, let them hear very well. Tell your friend, relevant knowledge is useless without execution. Yes. So that if they forget my voice, they forget Lynn's voice or Samba's voice or Cecilia's voice or Clotilde's voice and other speakers that were there or Dr. Visha's voice. If they forget their voices, they will not forget your voice. Will not forget your neighbor's voice. Hey, my neighbor told me that if I acquire relevant knowledge today and I don't put it to use, then that knowledge was literally useless. All right, so I'll do a little contribution to this amazing lineup of expertise here today on what we have titled the technicalities of building credibility and thought leadership as a young professional. Very important. The technicalities of building thought leadership and credibility as a young professional. I want to tell you that one of the most important tools, one of the most important assets that you will have as a professional in your life is what you can call thought leadership, where you can be respected as a thought leader, as a credible expert in your sector, in your industry, and not locally, not in Cameroon, but a global thought leader. Do you know why? Because you see, every young person now who has access to a phone and to internet right now is a global person, whether you have traveled or not. It's not about entering a plane. You see, if you have a mobile phone right now and you can take this mobile phone and go online. The moment you go online, you're a global person. Because in a second, for example, before I came on this video call right now, Lynn was texting me back and forth. In less than 2 seconds, we're exchanging thoughts. So she could communicate with me from Yaoundé, and I'm in Washington, D.C., and we can communicate, right? So that becomes very important. So the moment you take your phone and connect to the internet, your competition, your fellow colleague is another young person in New York, another young person in Japan, another young person in China, another young person in Kenya, another young person in Tanzania, another young person in Egypt. That means you can literally begin to compete and create value and partner with somebody anywhere around the world. So it is literally a sign of inadequacy, a sign of ignorance. If you are a young person and you have a mobile phone and you can connect to the internet and you're not thinking global in terms of your career, in terms of your business, in terms of whatever that you're doing. So you can start local, but when you're starting local, build with a global mindset. Because anytime you post anything on Facebook, you see, even slay queens are global, right? Because anytime they post a slay queen picture or a slay king picture, anybody around the world on LinkedIn, on LinkedIn, no, slay queens are not on LinkedIn, right? On Instagram, on TikTok, right? Anytime they post a picture like that, the algorithm can cause somebody from any nation, any city to see that picture. Even though they may have posted that picture from my beautiful village in Bansa, but even though they are posting from Bansa, somebody is able to see it in a big city like New York or Toronto or Tokyo or Nairobi or Lagos, Nigeria, or even Douala. You get the perspective. So always think in that perspective. So I want to share with you about 6 technicalities that you need to start using now where you are, based on where you are right now, to not be an average young person. That's the goal. To not be an average young person and to not end up having the same career like most young people end up having around you. Because the goal of all this program, of all the program, is that to show you things you can do so that you can break out of an existing stereotype, existing old ways of doing things, and begin to do new things in new ways so you can get superior results. Very important. You cannot get better results above people in your community if you're not doing something new in a superior way to get superior results, right? So I always fondly say that in the marketplace, hear me, don't lose me here. In the marketplace, professionals like you and I, institutions do not give platforms to fools. Did you hear that? In the marketplace, people that can pay you, people that can work with you and partner with you and even fund your ideas, they do not give platforms to fools. Somebody may get angry that why is he using the word fool in a training program? Oh, yes, because that's the only way to shift a mentality, right? But foolishness, if I say somebody is a fool, I'm not saying that that person foolish. If I say you're a fool, it's not an abuse. Foolishness is a state of being. If I say you are foolish in chemistry, for example, it means that your knowledge in chemistry is so small and so little and so inadequate that you cannot make informed strategic chemistry decisions, right? So foolishness is a state of being. So it's a state of inadequacy, a state of too much ignorance, a state of too much laziness, a state of too much, I don't care, right? So the marketplace does not give platforms to fools. Platforms are given to people who have developed 2 things. Never forget this. Platforms are given to people who have developed 2 critical things. Number 1, knowledge, reputation. Knowledge, reputation. Knowledge, reputation, and of course, capital, reputation. In other words, to break it down, knowledge capital and reputation capital. So the quality of knowledge that you're able to command and use that knowledge to create value for other people is what will get you platforms in the marketplace. Platforms means jobs, funding opportunities, promotions, whatever that you can do to create more impact and more money. So the second is reputation capital. For example, everything that all the branding experts have taught you there, like Clotilde and Cecilia and other people, and the LinkedIn experts have taught you there, they're teaching you the mechanics of building reputation capital to a young professional. Let me tell you, it's one of the most important things you will have in the next 30 years. It has been proven that in the next 30 years, any professional at any age who will command some influence and create some economic value or make some money is somebody who understands how to build reputation capital. So my goal of teaching you about the foundational technicalities that you can follow to build credibility and thought leadership is to show you why it is important and how you can begin to build that knowledge capital and that reputation capital so you can stand on those platforms. Okay. If you are still getting me, can you raise up your right hand again? Let me see. Beautiful, beautiful. You know that our beautiful country, MTN or Orange or whatever you guys are using, is so experienced at surprising us with a surprise we don't want, right? We only want a birthday surprise or a car surprise, but not internet surprise. It's never fun. Okay. All right. Let me share with you, I hope with the time that we have, I've given a very long introduction, but it's important. When you get the concept and the perspective and the philosophy, you can run with it. But I have here about 8 key things that a young person who will go far in destiny, who will go far in the marketplace, needs to start paying attention to if they will rise and keep on rising, right? Number 1 is train yourself to articulate complicated thoughts in your industry. If you will be a thought leader and build that reputation capital and knowledge capital that can open doors for you, learn how to train yourself to articulate complicated thoughts in your industry. You see, before I clocked 30, I had traveled almost 15 countries. And I'm happy that Beats is here. When I started my training career and all of that, Beats was one of my earliest students in 2012, 13, right? One of your co-hosts here. We are from the same nation called the Nation on Zop, right? And he was there. He was one of my students at that earliest time. And he was one of those who saw my earliest beginning as far as my work was concerned. But you see, the only thing that has taken me 18 countries plus 4 continents, speaking to ministers, presidents, ambassadors, whoever I can think of, is one thing I learned earlier on is that if I'm going to stand out in my industry, I should not know easy things that anybody can know. So when I learn what everybody else can learn, I go a step further. Because what will make you stand out is not what everybody else can bring to the table. What will make you stand out is when you can articulate relevant, complicated thoughts that can solve problems in your industry that others are too lazy or are not willing to pay the price to learn what you know. One of the easiest ways to be a thought leader that commands the right reputation capital is to master, train yourself to articulate complicated thoughts in your industry. Is it technology? Is it agriculture? Is it healthcare? Is it business? Is it marketing? Whatever that is your industry, you need to do that. Why? Because clear articulation builds trust and boosts your authority as a thought leader, as a professional. Because you see, why is this important? Because the society is full of complicated problems. There are so many complicated problems here and there. And the professionals that can understand these complicated problems and create solutions, and sometimes complicated solutions, but they're still able to distill, they're still able to simplify and able to communicate the complicated thoughts and solutions, explain a complicated problem in a way somebody is no longer scared about that problem and yet solve that problem, is a rare, rare ability that will make you stand out as a leader in the marketplace. Okay? So train yourself from right now. You're still in school, train yourself. You see, you can start simple. When your fellow students are running away from complicated subjects, go towards complicated subjects or complicated topics, because your brain is a muscle. The more you put it to use, the more it becomes better. I am in a good position to tell you that. Many of you, if you have attended any of my events, you may have heard the story where throughout primary school, I used to be the last in class. People don't get to believe it, but throughout primary school, I used to be the last in class. You know, they say in Cameroon, carry class, be the jet class very, very well, right? I have experience in jetting class from class 1 to class 7, right? And and then in secondary school, in the Cameroon education system, as you know, you only get promoted to the next class in secondary school if you have 10 average and above. Is that true? If it's true, raise up your hand. I want to be sure that we are together. Is that true? Awesome. Here's the funny fact. From 1 to Form 5, and from 1 to upper sit, I have never had more than 10 average in my life. My highest average was 8.45. I never forget. That was how terrible I was with school. I didn't like school. Funny enough, I didn't like school. I was terrible at it. I was always a failure. I was always promoted on trial. Always promoted on trial. Right? But you see, I'm happy that one of my uncles used to force me to read a lot. Will keep on forcing me to read and read and read, my mother's younger brother. And it helped me a lot. In less than no time, I began to develop my own abilities in terms of education and skill acquisition, and things started changing, right? Sometimes it started changing in high school, actually. If you look at my A-level results and my O-level results, they are two different human beings, right? So your brain is a muscle. That's why those who read every day, their brain appreciates. I always say this. For example, this works a lot with ladies and sometimes with men. But you see, there are ladies that their greatest asset at a particular age, between let's say the age of maybe 35 downward or 40 downward, many ladies think that their greatest asset is their face, their assets, the asset I'm talking about. I don't want to call names, but their assets are the front and the back. Some people think that way. But I always say that if you're a lady and you think like that, you have not thought thoroughly about life. Because those things you call assets, when you begin to get to 40, they will begin to depreciate. And the men who are running after you will leave you and go to people who are younger and fresher than you. That's how the world works. The only thing that appreciates in the life of a man and a woman is the quality of that thought pattern. So the more you put it to use, the more it becomes better and more powerful. And I want to tell you, your most powerful weapon against poverty, against lack, against small-mindedness, against victimhood is the quality of your brain. So train yourself to articulate complicated thoughts in your industry. You will effortlessly stand out among your peers. Let's say you're looking for a job. You go in front of an interview, intentionally speak in a way that they will see that this guy can understand any difficult problem in this company, and this guy can solve it with easy strategies and wisdom. Number two, the second thing that you need to master is know how to lead on the edge. Know how to lead on the edge. A thought leader, as a young professional, you need to know how to lead on the edge, right? That means you're always a step ahead. And why is this important? Because the more you are leading, you see, there are leaders who are reactive. If you're in the marketplace and you're always reactive, you're always following the trend and the crowd, you are not a thought leader. Thought leaders lead on the edge. If you're in school right now in that school right now, and you do everything the same way majority of the people are doing it, you are not leading on the edge. For example, if everybody is making noise and you join to make noise, you are not leading on the edge. If everybody is not reading or everybody is not doing something, you are leading on the edge, right? So learn how to lead on the edge, okay? What do? Be curious to new experiences. Learn how to be curious to learn new things. Then be receptive to new experiences. It's two ways. Be curious to new experiences. Then let your mind be receptive to new experiences. You will lead on the edge. Second way to do that is be curious to new ideas. Be curious to new ideas and be receptive to new ideas. Why? Because curiosity leads to intelligence. Okay. Number three, the third thing you can do to build thought leadership is meta skills. Develop meta skills. Meta skills are some of the most powerful things that you can do. Okay. And meta skills are skills that will teach you how to learn. They are skills that will help you acquire more skills. If you will be a thought leader, you need to learn. You need to learn how to develop meta skills. Any skill that can teach you how to acquire more skills is a meta skill. Okay, for example, learning how to learn is a meta skill. Learning how to read is a meta skill. Learning how to retain information in your brain is a meta skill. Critical thinking and problem solving is a meta skill. Processing and reflecting things is a meta skill, right? Effective questioning is a meta skill. So learn to do that. Number 4 is industry stacking. Industry stacking. If you'll be a thought leader, you must practice industry stacking. For example, if you're here and you're reading business management, if you'll be a thought leader, make up your mind that I am going to be a business management expert in finance, in technology. So always train yourself to be good in more than one industry. If you're in tech, you cannot just be a tech expert in technology. No. Look at what is happening around the world right now. The best tech experts and tech leaders are practiced at least 4 industries that they combine together to do amazing things. So if you will stand out as a tech person, practice industry stacking. You can say, okay, you know what? As a tech person, I'm going to focus on education and blockchain technology, for example. So you're combining, education, tech itself, and then blockchain or what have you. Because learning how to integrate multiple industries and then creating innovative solutions and new value and competitive advantage will make you stand out effortlessly. So I want to challenge you, practice industry stacking, right? Number 5, knowledge and skills stacking. Knowledge and skills stacking. If you will stand out as a person, you need to learn how to also master knowledge and skills stacking. What does that mean? Very, very simple. You need to learn how to add up knowledge. It's the same principle with industry stacking. So you intentionally master the art of merging knowledge, merging processes, sometimes from unrelated industries. For example, you can decide that how can I merge healthcare and healthcare knowledge, fintech knowledge, bring these two together and help people in a remote village to be able to access healthcare and pay effortlessly, right? So you begin to merge knowledge and skill stacking to do that. So if you have, for example, if you're reading marketing right now, your marketing knowledge is inefficient. I used to lecture marketing. I used to lecture organizational behavior, managerial courses in HND and first degree, like for 4 years in universities in Cameroon. But when I read the curriculum the last 2 or 3 years in HND and degree, they had improved it. But you see, it's not enough. The way the world is moving so fast right now, it's not enough. For example, I was talking to a school owner and I said, if you're teaching marketing now in your school in 2025, and you have not added TikTok as a subject in marketing, then your marketing course is lacking. If you are teaching journalism now and you have not earned it, YouTube journalism as a course, your school is lacking something. So there are many things that your school will not teach you. You need to learn how to practice knowledge and skill stacking, right? Even right now, for example, LinkedIn should be a subject. LinkedIn should be a subject in across different disciplines right now. They should hire people like Lean and Clotilde and other LinkedIn experts to come and begin to be lecturers across different schools in Cameroon. LinkedIn should be a subject. There are schools in the United States and even in Europe that LinkedIn are subjects in school, LinkedIn and other social media platforms, right? And then, of course, tools stacking. That will be the last one. Tools stacking. Every industry depends on tools. Every industry depends on tools. You need to learn how to use various critical tools. I always advise people, what are the top 5 tools? What are the top 5 softwares, platforms in your industry? Find them and be an expert in using them, right? So have the various top 5 tools that you have stacked them together and you're good at them is going to make you stand out, because being able to converge technology and create more value for other people is very, very powerful. All right, that's how much I could share with you guys. And I hope that you found some value and something that will shift the work that you do as a professional and ensure that when you get into the marketplace, you are not stranded, you are not confused, and you know exactly what to do, how to do, and when to do it to advance the course of your career. And that is it. I don't think we have room for questions, but I always do a lot of these teachings on my YouTube channel, more deeper on Dr. Jabet Javner. You can find it out. There are more longer videos there on ideas like this that can help you stand out, and hopefully it will be a blessing to you. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Cheers.